In this video, we are looking at finding the range from data presented in a frequency table. Here's the example. Information about the number of cars sold by a dealer each day in June is shown in the table. What is the range in number of cars sold? So we want the range in number of cars sold. So the difference between the highest number of cars sold and the lowest number of cars sold. So the range is simply going to be the highest number of cars sold on any of these days in June, which is 7. That's the highest number in this column of the table. 7 cars were sold on 2 days in June. So 7 is the highest, and we need to subtract the lowest number of cars sold, and that is 0 cars. There was 1 day in June where 0 cars were sold, so that's the lowest number. 7 subtract 0 gives us an answer of 7. So the range in number of cars sold was 7 cars. That means that the difference between the number of cars sold on their best day in June and their worst day in June was 7 cars. Now, one mistake that students sometimes make is to look in the frequency column and to find the range of this set of numbers. But remember what this table actually represents. These are not part of our actual data set. We are interested in the number of cars sold each day, and the only numbers of cars sold were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. These numbers here just tell us on how many days the dealer sold each of these numbers of cars. And the reason these numbers add up to 30 is because there are 30 days in June. So we're saying that on 1 day in June, the dealership sold 0 cars. On 9 days in June, the dealer sold 1 car. On 3 days, they sold 2 cars, and so on. We can make this really clear by converting this table into a list, just to illustrate. Here, I've taken the data from the table and turned that into a list. These are the numbers of cars sold on each of the 30 days in June. There are 30 numbers here. We've got 1 0 right there. We've got 9 1s here, 3 2s here, here, and here, and so on. These are the numbers of cars sold on each of the 30 days in June. And you can see really clearly now that the highest number of cars sold was 7, and the lowest number of cars sold was 0. So the range is 7 subtract 0, as we already said, and that gives us an answer of 7 cars.